It's Tuesday, May 7th. Tonight, a special business incubator focuses on nature-related industry in our state. Next on North Carolina Now.
Quality public television is made possible through the financial contributions of viewers like you, who invite you to join them in supporting UNC TV.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Shannon Vickery. Thanks for joining us. Tonight on North Carolina Now, we'll learn why the town of Holly Springs is earning national recognition. And we'll get a preview of a special production honoring mothers in our state and across the country. But we begin in Buncombe County. Western North Carolina is known for its beautiful scenery and its rich natural resources, as well as the small businesses that have grown and thrived in that environment. Tonight, Frank Graff introduces us to a new group that aims to help those companies and continue that legacy. Accelerating Appalachia is the nation's first business accelerator focusing on nature-based companies.
Riverbend Malt House is a blend of old ideas with new business.
The germination process dates back to the 1700s in the Scottish Isles, wherein they do what's called floor malting.
The company's founders are all environmental engineers who work with developers and communities in planning projects. But their work dried up when the recession took hold.
It's a totally different game now.
So they talked about opening a sustainable business, about balancing people, planet, and profits. They talked over beers, meeting in Asheville's growing number of microbrews. And
what you're looking at here is the first step of the malting process. It's called steeping. And essentially what we do here is soak the grain underwater for, it undergoes 3 wet-dry cycles.
That's right. Riverbend Malt House supplies the barley, wheat, and rye that brewers need to craft their various types of beers. But where modern malt houses use machines, Riverbend utilizes a process called floor malting. After 2 to 3 days of soaking in the steep tank, just as the roots are starting to appear, the grain is spread out on the floor and raked several times a day over several days. The idea is to release the heat and coax the grain to start growing, to germinate, but in a controlled way.
And so if you'll imagine the grain standing in the field like this. And so what we're doing in germination is watching the growth of the first leaf or acrosphere growing underneath that husk. And when that acrosphere reaches roughly the top of that kernel, we consider it to be fully modified and ready to go into the kiln.
Riverbend now supplies about 24 craft brewers. The grain is bought from local farmers, but North Carolina's microbrew industry is growing so fast, Riverbend can't keep up with the demand. It's looking to expand.
By doing this floor malting process, we're coaxing as much flavor and aroma out of this grain as possible. And our goal is really to help foster the development of a southeastern style beer that becomes synonymous with this area.
North Carolina's mountain region boasts a rich landscape of nature-based businesses like Riverbend Malt House. The companies don't all sprout from the ground and involve farming. They also include forest products, natural fibers, and fuel. Most have only a handful of employees, and they are just starting to gain traction. Firms such as Caramay Potter's Skin Butter and Fifth Son Salsas and Chips. Their products are sold on the web and in local farmers markets and area stores. The natural supplements firm Botana Farm produces roughly 75 bottles a day of the traditional native medicinal plant Golden Seal. It's sold by wholesale and retail as well as for use by research firms. Blue Ridge Food Ventures rents kitchen and production space to almost 60 small firms. The Asheville-based business incubator helps food and natural products entrepreneurs bring products out of the kitchen and into the market.
People want more control over their lives. They want to be more creative, or they just really need a job, and they're their best chance of making it. 80% of jobs are created in small businesses. Now our businesses are micro businesses, but they're growing. You know, they're going to make it up there.
But it's not easy for seed stage businesses, ones that have been in place for a couple years, to take the next step. And that's where Accelerating Appalachia comes in. It's the world's first nature-based business accelerator. It's launching a 12-week intensive mentor and investor-driven class to help small companies with all the aspects of business development.
They have grown over a couple of years. They've got demand for their product. They've got contracts. In order to fill that contract, they often will need investment or mentorship. It's not always about the money. A lot of times it is, but it's also about, you know, if they can get somebody to help fill this supply chain, connect to others in the region that they can engage with, that can help their business to grow as well. But we come in to help fill that gap for these small businesses to get to that next stage of a medium stage business.
We make yarn. We process animal fleeces into yarn, and we do everything along the way.
EchoView Fiber Mill in Weaverville is the first mill to open the state in 25 years. All of the fleece produced by the mill comes from animals raised on farms in the western part of North Carolina.
It's kind of an age-old process, spinning fibers into yarn and from their clothing. So
demand for the mill's fiber is growing. It's a sign those trying to foster nature-based businesses believe their concept can help the area's economy to diversify and thrive.
because of the heritage of this area where things tend to be small, small business is just a part of the inherent structure here. There's not this, everybody wants to be the best, but you don't necessarily have to be the biggest to be the best.
To learn more about AdvantageWest, the economic development group for North Carolina's mountains that is supporting Accelerating Appalachia, visit our website. In statewide headlines, North Carolina Senate leaders have created a website promoting their tax plan. nctaxcut.com includes a video in which Senate President Pro Tem Phil Berger explains the Tax Fairness Act. A tax calculator also helps site visitors crunch the numbers. The Senate legislation will include provisions cutting personal income tax rates to 4% over the next 3 years and decreasing the corporate income tax to 6%. It will also call for a slight cut to the sales tax rate and the business franchise tax. Meanwhile, the Senate passed the dredging bill, increasing boat registration and titling fees and taking a small percentage of gas tax revenues to pay for inlet dredging along the coast. Senators also passed legislation giving State Treasurer Janet Cowell more flexibility in how to invest public employee pension funds. Both bills now go to the State House. In the House, gun control legislation has been approved. The measure would allow concealed weapon permit holders to carry handguns in more public places, including restaurants that serve alcohol. The legislation also allows gun owners with permits to store their weapons in locked cars on college campuses and state government parking lots. University of North Carolina System President Tom Ross and many UNC faculty members have issued statements opposing the measure. The bill now goes to the Senate. Our legislative team is following all the activity at the General Assembly. You can join the conversation on our social media sites. Links are available at unctv.org/legweek. And be sure to join Kelly McCullen for a complete wrap-up of lawmakers' work this week, Friday night at 9 on Legislative Week in Review. In national legislative news, the U.S. Senate has passed a bill applying state sales taxes to online purchases. Under current law, states could only require retailers to collect online sales tax if they have a physical presence in the state. Online-only retailers such as eBay and Amazon have only had to collect sales tax in states where they have offices or distribution centers. As a result, many online sales have gone tax-free, giving internet retailers an advantage. The bill now goes to the U.S. House. Now here's a look at tomorrow's weather. The rain will return overnight and continue into tomorrow across most of the state. Temperatures will remain mild with highs in the upper 60s and low 70s. Stocks continued their climb into record territory with the Dow closing above 15,000 for the first time ever today. Now here's a look at the rest of what happened on Wall Street. One North Carolina town is receiving national attention. For families searching for an escape from the bustle of big city life, Bloomberg Business Week named the town of Holly Springs on its list of best places to raise kids in 2013. Producer Miracle King takes a look at why the community with less than 25,000 residents is growing in popularity.
In a nationwide review of over 3,000 communities with populations from 5 to 50,000, a recent ranking from Bloomberg Business Week sets the quaint Wake County town of Holly Springs apart.
This survey kind of gives us the honor of something we felt we deserved in the first place, that it's the best place to raise kids in the whole state of North Carolina.
The best place ranking evaluated factors that affect everyday living and the overall quality of life in this picturesque community, says Mayor Dick Sears.
Housing costs are affordable. Commuting time, I-540 made a difference to those who go to RTP or the airport. Amount of poverty is very low. Adult education level, over 95% of our citizens have a high school degree, and of that, half of those have a bachelor's degree or more.
Bloomberg Business Week also highlights the education system, which has also recently been recognized by greatschools.org.
Holly Springs High School is in the top 6% of the state, which is quite an honor.
Also weighing heavily is how the town keeps its crime statistics versus population fairly low.
The resources are afforded to us to be able to be proactive in our policing and in our approach, and to try and be there before crime happens to deter that crime from ever occurring.
Town police say that deterring crime is a part of the safe feeling that citizens have here, measurable by police presence on nearly every corner in the community and within schools.
Holly Springs has taken a very active role in putting police officers inside the schools. The town puts forth that budget, more so than Wake County does, to provide a sense of security for parents so that they don't have to worry about that when they go to work here in this community.
We're still the safest town to live in the state of North Carolina and in the top 100 of the whole U.S.
But at the heart of the best places evaluation are the children.
If the council and the town and the mayor looks at every issue and says, will this be good for the kids? And we do it, then I think it works.
We heard a lot of great things about this town growing and being a great place for families.
The town has taken the taxes we've paid and all, and they've built things for the kids. Look at this beautiful building here. That's part of that. Womble Park, the baseball fields, the soccer fields, all the activities.
5, 6, 7, 8, throw. 15 years ago, there were a bunch of really great like-minded people that came together that wanted a community outside of Raleigh that was a small town feel where, lots of like-minded people could come together and make children first.
All right, let's try third position. Everybody ready?
Mayor Sears, a friend, has always said that, if it's good for the children, it's good for the town. And I firmly believe that, because you do things for the kids and it's going to make them happy, the parents are going to be happy.
Family and keeping the community quaint was historically a part of the overall vision for Holly Springs when colonial settlers built homes around the town's waterways.
A community grew up around those springs, the store, a school, even a Masonic lodge. Where those settlers may have settled that area, they didn't discover it. This area has been known, passed down from, not from neighbor to neighbor, but from father to son, from the Tuscarora Indians. This was a hunting ground. But the community of Holly Springs, it was always been a very families, farming, never a lot of commercial, never a lot of industrial.
It's not just about building things, it's building community, and that's what I like about here. The people, everywhere. You go into the store and you'll see the town commissioner, the mayor or something, and it's like your next door neighbor. They come up to you. And it brings, that type of stuff brings people into Holly Springs. And it's the satisfaction of the people, and it just filters down to the kids.
While Holly Springs has well-run schools, low unemployment, and top-notch safety for many, it's the people and the town's ability to maintain a slower pace of life that makes the toast of the town of Holly Springs itself.
There's just so many great little small town feeling. I grew up in a small town in New Jersey and just love having the aspect of the similarities of that and raising my kids in a place that's safe and friendly and just that small town feel.
As one of the council members' wives said, it's a magical town. And I buy that. It is a magical town.
And if you can't move to Holly Springs, with 100 counties around the Tar Heel State, somewhere in the mountains, the Queen City, Triad, Triangle, Plains, or Coast, you're bound to find your own best place to live, work, and raise your family. In Wake County, I'm Miracle King.
For more information on the town of Holly Springs, visit our website. Finally, tonight as we approach Mother's Day, we talked with two women who are part of a unique stage show that has garnered national attention from the Washington Post and the New York Times. Listen to Your Mother pays tribute to the special women in our lives by sharing essays about the various aspects of and lessons learned from motherhood. Here's a sneak peek.
When I became a mother nearly 17 years ago, I treasured all of the firsts. First steps, first words, first tooth. But in the blink of an eye, the baby I so wanted and cherished has grown up into a young man, ready to create his own firsts. First day of college, first love, first career.
I learned from my best friend Susan that every moment of fun is also a moment of learning for children. It's been hard to live up to her expectations of motherhood. I fail a lot. And when I failed, she also taught me that we always get to try again.
Marty Long, Michelle Lynn, you now join us on our set. Very nice renditions there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, Marty, I'll start off with you because you are the co-producer of this production called Listen to Your Mother. What type of show is this actually?
This Listen to Your Mother is half online, half live show. We are bringing to the stage 15 local writers who are going to share their stories about motherhood. And then after the show, every performance is then broadcast on the Listen to Your Mother Show YouTube channel.
Now, this is actually a national production and it's being performed like in 24 cities. So how did you get involved in this program, and what really led you to participate in this?
Well, I heard about Listen to Your Mother through the blogging community. BlogHer is a national sponsor and has been big in promoting this movement. I decided to join up because there was a show in DC last year, and it was very special to a friend of mine, and I wanted to be part of that. I wanted to be part of those connections and join up with this amazing group of women.